What's up, everybody? Eric here with another EWE Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about South Park Season 26, Episode 4. But before we get into that, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know what you guys want me to review next. But yeah, let's go on to this episode real quick. This episode will be spoiler-free at the beginning, and then I'll do spoilers after I'll give you guys a warning. So let's just get into this real quick. So the title of this episode is Deep Learning. It was released on March 8th, 2023. As usual, the show's creators are Matt Stone and Trey Parker. But if you see at the end, there's a little Easter egg with who the writers are. Check that out. I actually really enjoyed it. With the runtime of the usual 22 minutes. So, basic plot of this episode, based off the trailer, that's usually what I do here in the spoiler-free section, is that we start off the episode with, we start the trailer with Stan going up to Clyde. And he goes up to him because Bebe's been telling everyone that Clyde's such a good replier to the messages, and Wendy seems like she doesn't feel that way from Stan, so Stan's trying to find out what Clyde's secret is. So what he tells them is, Chat GPT, dude. And I'm just like, what the hell is Chat GPT? So now let's move on to my spoiler-free thoughts. One, I had no idea what the hell Chat GPT was. So I actually, last night when I was watching the episode, I actually was messaging with a friend, and she was like, I said, oh, they're using like AI to answer. So she's like, oh, Chat GPT. I was like, this thing's real? And I was just laughing my ass off, guys. So I really enjoyed this episode all the way until the end. I didn't like the way they ended it, and if you want to know my thoughts on that, look in the spoiler section. But other than that, I was having a lot of fun of like, who were the people using it and how they were using it. Just because there's your normal usual suspects, so we'll get to that later. But then there's Stan and Clyde, and I don't know, Clyde's never seemed that douchey, but at the same time, I feel like he was like, oh, this is an easy golden ticket. Actually, no, he has been douchey like this before, when the whole shoes things. Also funny, I didn't know he was dating Bebe again. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this episode. This episode does miss a few things. We don't really get any Kyle or Kenny in this episode, or Randy. But since Randy had his episode last week, I feel like I get it. There might be too many characters now in these shows where not everyone's going to get their time to shine in every episode. But that's fine. I still think like everyone's still getting their time. Kyle got his episode back with episode 2. So I feel like people are going to get their moments here and there. It's not like before where everyone was going to be on everything. So moving back to my thoughts, I really enjoyed this. I feel like they could have done a little bit more, just because the ending felt like, I don't know how to explain it without spoiling it, but it felt like they kind of didn't know what to do, but they kind of just went with something that was a cool idea in theory, but the execution to me didn't work. But everything else, I was just having a blast with. We even got to see some characters we haven't seen in a while, and I had a blast. I was enjoying my entire time watching it. So let's move on to my score, guys. I'm giving this episode a 7 out of 10 for good. It should have been higher, but like I said, the ending really kind of like, it didn't work for me. I think it could work for a lot of people. It just didn't work for me. I kind of wanted to see what they did with this, because I find the whole concept of using AI like very fascinating. Now, knock on wood, we didn't just start Skynet, because who knows what's going to happen there. But just the idea of what they're using and how they're using it, I found very interesting. Like, some of the kids were using it for school. Some people were using it for messages. Some people were using it for work. And it was just like, it's really cool to see how people are using AI. But like, is this really, like, are we going to the future where people don't even want to reply to their text because they're like, oh, I don't want to deal with it? And that was kind of like really cool to see how it was used. I'll give them credit. That was a really good concept. Just like last week with the Japanese toilets, it's like, oh, you found something I found very interesting. And the week before that with the royal family, it was like, oh, that was the episode I did not give a crap, because I don't care about the royal family. So it seems like this season, so far from what I'm noticing, is little niches here and there. Like, so not everything's going to be for everyone, but that's fine. I mean, South Park's on season 26. Not everything's going to be for everyone anymore. But yeah, guys, that's my spoiler-free thoughts. Do I recommend this episode? I actually do. Like I said, the AI stuff's really cool. I think a lot of people find that fascinating. But yeah, 7 out of 10 good. Let me talk real quick about what I'm doing next for those of you that aren't going to be joining me later. So you should be getting a review for Picard coming up soon. Last of Us season finale is going to be on Tuesday. I watched Creed 3 earlier in the week. I have to do a review for that. I'm watching Scream 6 tomorrow, and I want to see 65, the new dinosaur movie with Adam Driver, sometime this weekend, so watch out for those reviews. I might double stack some of them. I'm not sure yet. Well, we'll see. Once Last of Us is gone, I know that I'm going to have a hole for Tuesday, so I'll figure out what I'm going to do there, guys. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. So for those of you that are joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let me know, comment down below what you guys want me to talk about next. But for those of you that are leaving, here's your spoiler warning. I'm going to the spoiler section. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright guys, welcome into the spoiler section of the video. So let's just get right into the plot of what happened. So the beginning of the episode, we see Bebe just being like showing off to everyone like, oh my god, Clyde is so awesome. Look at these messages he wrote me. Oh, he's so great. And you see Wendy just being like, Stan just gives me a thumbs up. And then you can see the messages, everything that she sends. All he does is send a thumbs up, and I'm like, oh man, Stan, you are such a dick. I mean, you can at least try. The thumbs up isn't even trying. So that made me laugh. But then Wendy, like, this probably happens off screen because we didn't actually see it. She actually talks to Stan of like, hey, why aren't you doing this stuff for me? And then Stan's like, ah, crap, I gotta figure out what to do because I don't want Baby to break up with me. I mean, Wendy to break up with me again. So Stan goes talks to Clyde. And Clyde, like, he's hearing what Stan's saying. He's like, dude, ChatGPT, dude. It's like, he's basically saying he doesn't give a shit about what Bebe says, but he still wants to be in the relationship, which I always find weird. If you don't want to actually talk to them, why are you in the relationship? But that's not neither here nor there. But it was just really funny that that's what Stan ended up doing to be, and Clyde, both of them, just because they want to stay in their relationships, they don't want to actually talk to the person. Now this gets even funnier because now Stan's using it, and the way it even works is you go up to this app for ChatGPT, you write down what you want it to say around those things, and it makes a message for you. You copy, paste it into your text. It was just funny seeing them do stuff like that. So now Stan does that. He starts sending these messages to Wendy, and Wendy is completely infatuated. She's like, oh my god, Stan loves me. The same way Baby was doing at the beginning. You see Wendy just like going all crazy. She's having dinner. She's like, oh, Stan's opening up. Not knowing that it's not really Stan. I'm just laughing, guys. I was just like, oh my god, Wendy thinks this is really Stan. It's not really him. But then we cut back to now the kids are in school, and Mr. Garrison talks about that most of the essays that people did for this one project were bad, but there were a couple standouts. And we see these standout these people, and it's Clyde, Butters, Cartman, and Stan. And right away, all of them start noticing something like, are these all the people using ChatGPT? And sure enough, it is. All 4 of them are using it. They have a meeting in the bathroom, and this scene's just so, like, guys, I cannot understate this. So first they start talking about, like, what the hell's going on? Why'd you tell Stan about ChatGPT? And then you find out the story of how they all found out about it. But then someone walks into the bathroom to use the bathroom, and I shit you not, for like a minute, all you see is like the kid goes pees, and he's done peeing, washes his hands, done washes his hands, throws away his paper, and then he goes out, and then Cartman continues his conversation. It was so dumb, but I loved it, just the fact that they're like, no, we're not even saying anything in front of anybody. I thought that was really funny and stupid. So yeah, they have their conversation, and they're basically like, we got to keep this quiet just between us. So now we move on to Mr. Garrison, who's at home, and he's grading some of these papers, and his boyfriend Rick is right there, and Rick is the one that tells him about ChatGPT. Now, Garrison doesn't put 2 and 2 together here. He doesn't really realize that the reason that Rick knows about it is because Rick uses it. So Rick tells him about it, and Garrison uses it as a way to just get work done faster. He just puts stuff into ChatGPT. That way he can make his notes and stuff like that for these papers a lot faster. And then after he's done saying that how much he likes it, he tells Rick, like, oh my god, thank you for those messages earlier. They were so great. They helped me get through my day. And for me, it was just like, Rick's using ChatGPT. He's being an asshole. He's doing what Stan and Clyde are doing. So I was just having a lot of fun with that. So now we go back to Stan, and him and Wendy are getting ice cream at this one place. And Wendy is telling him, like, oh, she's so happy about how he's opening up and mentions a story that Stan told her because it relates to some of their conversation. And you can tell Stan is just like, did I go too far? Because she's crying because she's like, tears of joy, because saying like, oh my god, I finally have someone that understands me. And Stan has no idea what's going on because he doesn't read his messages to her. He has no idea what's going on. He's just like, oh, all right, fine, whatever. Does about his thing. There was even a part earlier where Stan's playing video games and you can just tell, oh yeah, he's putting it right there. He's putting it right there. It was just funny. He wasn't even paying attention when he was talking to Wendy, which is like, why are you with Wendy to begin with? Still, whatever. I had a lot of fun with that. All right, so then we go to the classroom and Clyde's doing a report or something like that. When Mr. Mackey out of nowhere, and you can tell Garrison at this point, he's just in the back, like having his headphones on. He is not paying attention to what Clyde's saying. And then Mackey walks in and he tells them like, oh, we've heard about people using AI to do their schoolwork. And at this moment, all 4 boys start to freak out. Garrison starts to freak out because it's like, these are all the people that have been using ChatGPT. And Garrison's using it for work. And the boys are like, Clyde and Stan are freaking out just because they're like, if they find out that their work has been like corrupted because of AI, they're like, Wendy and Bebe are gonna know that they're doing the same thing to them, which is why I'm saying like, how did Garrison not put 2 and 2 together? But he does eventually put it. So we actually go to this guy that shows up because Garrison's trying to convince Mackey not to have this people check about ChatGPT, but then they get a message like, oh, the advisory guy's here. And this guy comes and he looks like a shaman. He's all into it, like a bird. It's just like, what the hell is going on? This is classic South Park of just like going really weird with things. And I was just having a lot of fun with it. I was laughing my ass off. So then Stan's freaking out and he confesses to Garrison that he's been using ChatGPT for his schoolwork and talking to Wendy. And this is when Garrison finally like puts 2 and 2 together. And he's like, oh, Rick, that son of a bitch. He's been using it. It's like, oh my god, when Garrison finally gets pissed off and it's like, oh, classic Garrison freaking the hell out. And before, when he thought that Stan was just using it for schoolwork, he was like, oh, it's fine, it's fine. But the second that he finds out that, he's using it for Wendy and Garrison realizes it was being used on him too, he gets pissed off. I was like, no, you guys are messing with these people's emotions. Like, dude, stop being an asshole. But I was having too much fun. So then we actually get someone that's the suspect for the shaman of who's using ChatGPT, and it's Wendy. And of course, Wendy hasn't been using it, but of course, like some of her phone stuff shows that it was using ChatGPT. But I'm not sure if that's how they got to her. Maybe it was because of her essays, because she actually writes smart. She's the smarter one in the group. So this is where I think the episode got off the rails. In order to get out of this, and there was only like less than like 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left probably in the episode at this point. In order for Stan to get out of this, he ends up having to use ChatGPT to write him a story on how to even get out of it, and that's what they go with to get out of it. But it didn't work for me. It was like, oh, Wendy was going to jail, or like, you guys have to watch it yourselves, but this didn't work for me. And this is my reasoning for bringing the episode down. I'm like, I get the satire saying, oh, we didn't know how to write our episode, so we're just gonna have ChatGPT write the ending for us. I get that. It wasn't good. If it would have been good, that would have been one thing, but it was just bad. And maybe it's just me not really liking that style of comedy, but it's just like, you had such a good episode. It's just that ending just didn't work for me because you were putting so much work in there. It's like, this isn't like Stan not putting any work in with Wendy. This is like, you guys put in a lot of work and then you kind of just like cheat at the end, but it didn't work for me. And then when Stan finally gets out of it, him and Wendy are leaving, they're holding hands. He makes his lines like, oh, it's better to be get a thumbs up than a lie from an AI. And then Clyde comes up to Stan, he's like, hey, how'd you do it all? And he's like, ChatGPT, dude. And it's just like, oh my god, how this all started and ending like that. I had fun with that. That was a good line. But yeah, guys, those have been that's the plot of this episode. With the spoilers, like I said, I enjoyed the episode. I just didn't like the ending. Everything else I thought was really good. I think like South Park has some issues sometimes where they don't know how to end things. So like they have good concepts with the endings to these episodes. Like they've been doing it for so long. It's like, I don't know, what do we do now? So I get it. So like I said before, this is the end of the episode, guys. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I already said before what my next videos are going to be. So yeah, join me for when those are out, and glad for having you here. All right, talk to you later. Bye.